talk a little bit about to one of those couples who might be listening, who maybe secretly or openly is considering, all right, I think we might be done. What would you say to them? And especially if money is a big part of that?
Well, anyone who's in that place of really struggling needs to realize that there are three options. First of all, I'd like to say, if you are really struggling, my heart goes out to you, because Carrie and I have been in the deepest, darkest places in our marriage too. And I know it's a heartbreaking place to be.
Mm-hmm.
I can also stand here as someone who's been married for 30 years and hopefully that would give you hope as well. But I want to talk about the three options just briefly, that if somebody's secretly or openly talking about splitting, you have an idea of what that involves. You know that if you have kids, you're going to be having some difficult conversations about what you're going to do with parenting and how each of you are going to spend time with your kids. You know that there's financial stresses that go along with splitting. Like if you're splitting because of money, it's a hard place to be. But splitting means that you take your existing income and you divide it over two households instead of one. So there's that to deal with. And, there's other consequences. What I've heard from my clients is that they think they're walking away from their problems by leaving. And what they've often told me is that they feel like they traded one set of problems for another set.
Yeah.
And it was harder than they anticipated. The second option I want to talk about, because I believe it's clarifying, is surviving. So I describe surviving in marriage as staying together under one roof, but emotionally disconnected. And this is something you've probably seen before, and couples can move in and out of these seasons of feeling disconnected. So when you're surviving, you may be functioning more like roommates, or like a business contract, in a sense that there's an arrangement where each of you receive some benefits. And let's say, for example, he gets a golf membership and she gets a membership at the gym, and he gets a hunting week away and she gets a week at the all-inclusive. And it's sort of this system of benefits that is enough to keep both of them together in the marriage. The problem is that when there's that hole at the center, that disconnection, that one of you may end up reacting in an unhealthy way to that emptiness, because we are wired for intimacy. We're wired to have to be emotionally connected with the people we're close to. So surviving, though, can be an excellent temporary strategy while you work on rebuilding that connection. And saving your marriage is the third option. And that's where you both feel loved and cared for and connected, fully satisfied in your marriage. And I have to say, when we were deeply struggling, I didn't know how we would make it back. I honestly couldn't imagine being in love with Carrie again when we were in the depths. And one night we were out on a date night, and we had this big blowout argument, and we ended up talking about splitting. And so for the two of us, the consequences really started to crystallize. What does this mean for our kids, for our work and our ministry and all of that? And I realized that I didn't really want to split. The thing was, I wanted the painful version of our marriage to be gone. And I wanted the fun and closeness that we had way back when to be back again. And so I just want to give people hope that, even when your struggles are intense, and we had intense arguments over money to the point where we would both say things like, I didn't sign up for this, and I don't know if I can do this anymore. But there is a way out of that struggle. You just have to be willing to take some steps, and you also have to be willing to examine your own part. What is the part that I am contributing to the depths of our struggles right now?
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. So anybody in that situation, I think, should definitely go grab your book. But who else would benefit from grabbing your book?
it is written for people who are struggling, but the issues that I talk about would apply to any marriage. So if you're planning on getting married, or if your marriage hits some rough patches from time to time, let's say you'd rate your marriage as a C. It's not an A, it's not an F, but you're giving it a C. I think this book has something to say, because
Yeah.
I do a sort of an overview of the issues that you may bump up against, and including dealing with baggage, dealing with expectations, emotionally responding to each other, or emotional intelligence, peacemaking. And what about the impact on the kids? How can you be a leader in your marriage? So there's all these issues that I would hope and pray that people would find something to help them take the next step forward.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, oftentimes people don't come talking to us because, we're talking about money often until things are really bad. And it's so much easier when you are learning these things and applying these things when they're not so bad. The best time to build a roof is when it's sunny rather than when it's raining,
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I would encourage anybody just to go check out the book. Linda and I are always looking for ways to improve our marriage. We're in a good spot right now. We've had some tough moments, but we're in a good spot, and we want to keep growing in it. So we want to keep learning about it. So the book's called Before You Split. I'm assuming it's at Amazon and Barnes & Noble and everywhere else,
All the
right?
places.
All the places, right? Great. And if people want to connect with you online, anywhere else, where can they find you?
Sure. At ToniNieuwhof.com is my website. SmartFamilyPodcast.com is the podcast. You can reach out there as well. I'm on Instagram as Toni Nieuwhof, and Facebook and Twitter.
Awesome.
So if you're having trouble with my name, though, just look up Before You Split.
Yeah. All right, Toni. Well, thank you for taking the time and coming out to chat with us today.
It's such a pleasure, Bob. Thank you.